Do you want to know all about thrusting? Well, you're in the right place, my friend. Today I'm going to beat Elden Ring using only thrusting shields, one of the new weapon types added with the DLC. Can I do it? Yeah, probably. This weapon is pretty good at it. So the first thing I had to do to start this challenge was to, get the actual shields. But first I'm going to get a sick new outfit. Babushki. That's the Oath Knight Rider, Oath Seeker Knight, something about oaths and seeking. It looks cool, alright? Now we can go get the shields, which are located in Shadow Keep. Now, normally you would have to beat both the Golden Hippo and Rolana to get there, but I know the ancient secrets. And by ancient secrets, I mean the alternate path. So first you're going to want to start at Castle Ensis. Then you're going to want to make your way to the Fort of Reprimand, which you just jump off this cliff here, and from there it's pretty straightforward. Next, we're going to head to Morth Ruins. This is also where you find the monk dude that can teach you martial arts. Then we jump down this big hole, make our way through Bonnie Village, and then head towards the back entrance of Shadow Keep. Once I was there, this is where I faced my first challenge of this challenge. This fucking guy. Because I'm a little baby man in the DLC, I don't have any upgrades. This guy does so much damage to me, and it was incredibly annoying. But after a couple of deaths, I figured out the path to get past him. So that's good. Anyway, then I headed over to this elevator here that is incredibly long. Like, really, really long. Holy shit, it's still going. If you're curious, it takes about 30 seconds for this whole thing to finish. Anyway, once I reached the top, I grabbed my first shield, the Carrion Thrusting Shield, but unfortunately, I'm too stupid to use it because it needs 15 intelligence, but luckily, the other thrusting shield is nearby. And with that, we now have both shields. Unfortunately, there is only 2 thrusting shields, but what can you do? Anyway, let's head back to the main game. Now, you've probably noticed that my character is a little bit leveled up. That's because I had to actually get to the DLC, which does require leveling up a little bit. Unless you're a god and can do it at level 1, but I can't. It's pretty much just my health that's leveled up. The rest of my stats are pretty normal. I then spent a little bit of time getting familiar with the weapon because I've never actually used it up until now. For starters, its moveset is incredibly solid. The thing that makes this weapon unique is that while you're attacking, if you time it right and pause for a second, the weapon acts like a shield before you can keep attacking. That's a very strange way to explain it. Basically, it acts as a spear and a shield all in one thing, which is pretty cool. You can also use it like a normal shield and just block. And while you do that, you can do this funny little poke move, which I never used, but it looks kind of funny. Anyway, let's go fight the Tree Sentinel. And to the shock of no one, it was incredibly easy. Even with a completely unupgraded shield, I mopped the floor with this guy. To be fair, the Tree Sentinel isn't a super difficult fight to begin with, but still. So let's start working towards something a little bit more challenging. Margit. The first thing I did was slap the Impaling Thrust Ash of War onto the shield. I felt it'd be good to get a little bit more range, but also it does really good stagger damage. Anyway, next I went to the Limgrave Tunnels to start upgrading this thing. I absolutely bodied the boss at the end of it and got my weapon to +2. I then wanted to grab a couple talismans, which I grabbed the Green Turtle Talisman, which boosts my stamina recovery, and I grabbed the Bull Goat Talisman, which increases my poise, so I have over 51 poise with my current armor set. So after running errands, I felt I was ready to go fight Margit, and I absolutely fucking bodied him. I was shocked at how often I was able to get him to topple over. This thing absolutely shreds poise for whatever reason, but I ain't complaining. Anyway, with Market down, I now have enough runes to upgrade my stats, so I can now use the Carrion Thrusting Shield, which I pretty much use for the rest of the game. It has more damage reduction, it does more damage, it's essentially just a straight upgrade. Next, I began to make my way through Stormvale Castle. Not a whole lot to note. I pretty much just grabbed some more upgrade materials. I also picked up the Curved Sword Talisman. And then I was ready to fight Godric. Fuck it, I'm just gonna move on. I've done this take like 400 times. And yeah, between Impaling Thrust and Enhanced Guard counters, Godric didn't stand a chance. Alright, next on the chopping block is Renala. I almost said Relana, that's the other one. At the Academy of Rhea Lucario. Did I just say Lucario? Like the fucking Pokemon? On my way there, I fought the Red Wolf of Radagon, and I got him first try, even though I was playing like a moron, so it just goes to show how good this weapon is. I also made a brief pit stop at the Rhea Lucaria Crystal Tunnel, so I can upgrade my shield to +9, and with that, I'm ready to fight Renala. Now, her first phase was just like any other run. You go beat up her underlings and then bonk her on the forehead a couple times. Phase 2, however, it was still pretty easy. I'm just doing so much damage that she doesn't have any time to do anything to me. So, another boss down. I also probably should have mentioned this earlier, but I am using the Dexterity and Strength Knot tiers in my Physic thing, so that does give me a pretty big damage boost, which in hindsight, probably didn't need that. It just kind of made the fights a little quicker, but fuck it. Now that we're in the Altus Plateau, the first thing I did was go and grab the Lightning Ram Ash of War. This will be useful later, but since I was already quite strong, I just decided to go straight for the Dragonic Tree Sentinel. And my strategy was the same, just spam guard counters, Impaling Thrust, and just keep hitting him until he dies. I did have to dodge a little bit more than normal because of his lightning attacks, which my shield doesn't have very high elemental damage, but big whoop, I had to press the circle button a couple times. That being said, though, I did get super greedy on my first try and died, but I got him on my second one. But with him now, I can now enter Lindell Royal Capital. And my god, would you just take that in? Still probably my favorite reveal in the entire game. This shit is just so cool. Anyway, next was Godfrey the Golden Shade. I did make another pit stop though, however, this time to the Sealed Tunnel to grab more upgrade materials to get my shield to +14. But then, surprise twist, I also went to the Celia Crystal Tunnel to upgrade my shield to +17. I'm halfway through a can of Mountain Dew. I'm losing my mind. Anyway, with that, I was ready for Godfrey. Now, he does 100% physical damage, and my shield blocks 94%, so this poor sap was barely doing any damage to me. When I was holding my shield up, of course, and not being a friggin' idiot, but other than that, same business, spam guard counters, spam Impaling Thrust, and then hit him till he dies. And I won't lie, I'm glad he was easier, because the next boss is Morgott the Great Omen King. Just kidding. Remember Lightning Ram from earlier? Yeah, I slapped that shit on my shield and absolutely fucking bodied this fool because he is super weak to lightning, if you didn't know. So yeah, same business. Guard counters, Impaling Thrust, and then I just fucking rolled into him for a while. Legitimately, this setup what made him so easy. So if you're struggling with Morgott, just go grab Lightning Ram and just plow into him. Anyway, next boss won't be so easy because now we have to fight the Fire Giant, and I fucking hate this guy. I had to, of course, actually get to the boss first, and along the way I picked up some more upgrade materials to get my shield to +21. Then I just gave it a shot. And it was going actually pretty well until his second phase when he's just bouncing around constantly so you can't do any fucking damage to him. So after I died, I tried slapping bleed on my shield because while he is resistant to it, he's not immune to it, so it just takes a little bit longer to proc, but it still does proc. And other than that, I didn't change my strategy at all, and I just tried him again. And I almost got him until I got flattened and burned. So that's awesome. The thing that bothers me the most about this fight is just how goddamn long it takes. It's like 5 minutes every attempt because no matter what build you're using, you do like no damage to this guy. I've yet to see a single like super fast fire giant kill because he's really annoying. He looks cool and his lore is cool, but to actually fight him in practice is fucking annoying. Anyway, for my next attempt, I decided to switch up my strategy because I realized guard counters weren't doing anything because I wasn't using them. So I switched that out for the Claw Talisman, which enhances jump attacks, which that is in Stormville Castle. Then I went to the DLC to get the Flame Drake Protection Talisman +3 in the Fort of Reprimand because, you know, I'm fighting the fire giant over here, so fire protection might be pretty good. I then grabbed the Two-Headed Turtle Talisman, which is just a straight upgrade for stamina recovery. And with that, I was ready to fight the fire giant again. And it was going pretty well until I got deleted by fireballs because I have no situational awareness. I also got bodied on my next attempt and the one after that. But then I got him, and I did it by just spamming jump attacks and getting a couple lucky bleed procs, and now he's dead. Thank fucking God. But anyway, now that the fire giant is down, we can now move on to something a little bit more fun. Fuck. Well, the Godskin duo is my least favorite boss in the game. Separately, I don't actually mind them that much. It's just when you stick them in a tiny room together that it becomes a goddamn nightmare. The only thing I changed going into this fight was I just switched my talismans back to the guard counter impaling thrust setup. Then I just played as aggressively as I could. I got the skinny one down super fast and had a really close call. But then I fumbled taking down the big one because I started playing really passively because I'm an idiot. So they were able to respawn and just kill me. But the raw damage is there, so I just upgraded my shield a little bit more to get it to +23. Then I just kept trying the fight till I got it. Nothing else to change for strategy-wise, just guard counters and impaling thrusts. And after a few attempts, I got him. Alright, things are going fairly smoothly right now. I haven't had too many troubles besides the fire giant, but, you know, that's fine. Before fighting Malekith, though, I did fully upgrade my weapon to +25. I also removed bleed from it, because when you add bleed or poison or affinities like that, it actually lowers the damage negation of your shield. And I wanted as much damage negation as I could get. Then I just attempted the fight. His first phase, the Beast Clergyman, was actually pretty easy. He does mainly physical damage, and I was able to stagger him several times, so overall, not too bad. Now, I was pretty worried about fighting Malekith for two reasons. One, his Destined Death attack, the one that shreds your max HP, can go through shields, so blocking is super risky, which means less guard counters. And two, I've never fought Malekith without summons, so I was pretty concerned about this, because I figured I was going to be here a while. But then I almost got him on my first try, which was crazy. But for the fact that I completely fumbled at the end by just panic rolling, I actually found the fight to be almost easier without summons because he's not like bouncing back and forth for targeting. There's only one target to worry about. So it made it easier to keep track of where he was going to go and that kind of thing. That being said, though, I did get bodied several times after, so I might just be talking out of my ass over here. Anyway, all I changed for my strategy after this was I switched out a couple pieces of my armor to get a little bit more physical resistance. Then I just tried to fight some more, and on my 6th attempt, I got him. So for me, at least, Malekith was legitimately easier without summon, so... Anyway, next we have Godfrey, but for real this time. Oh right, I forgot about this guy. Anyway, on to Godfrey! Now, I wasn't super worried about Godfrey's first phase. His moves are pretty telegraphed, and he does mainly physical damage, so shouldn't be too difficult. I also swapped out my talismans again. So I swapped out for the Claw Talisman and the Dragon Crest Shield Talisman +2, which just boosts my physical defense. And with that, I was ready to properly fight him, and it did not go quite to plan. He was much more aggressive than I remember. To be fair, I've never fought him without summons either, so it may just be that I'm not used to the constant aggression. Anyway, after a few more attempts, I was able to get through his first phase. Now, for his second phase, I was incredibly worried because he's fucking terrifying. This dude can cause an earthquake with his bare hands, and even after doing that, he still just did a simple pimp slap to finish me off. So, I'm in trouble. But anyway, in terms of strategy, I didn't really change anything. I just said, fuck it, I'm just gonna have to dodge better. And that's what I did. I just dodged a little bit better, got a couple lucky staggers, and I was able to get him on my 5th attempt. But now, here we are. We're at the last two bosses already. Radagon does a lot of holy damage, which my shield doesn't really protect against, but outside of that, the strategy was pretty much the same. Just spam guard counters, spam impaling thrusts, and then just hit him till he dies. I did have to dodge a little bit more frequently, but I don't find Radagon that difficult to dodge. I did die several times though, but on my 4th attempt, I got him. So now I could fight the Elden Beast, the true final boss of the game, and he killed me instantly. So I decided to switch it up a little bit. So the first thing I did was get the dueling shield to plus 25 so I could dual wield. Just kidding, you can't power stance with these things. You can kind of do it with the Shield Strike Ash of War, but it's not really the same. I then went and fought the duelist at the Great Jar Coliseum area so I could get his talisman, which boosts equip load, so now I can equip both shields. Why both, even though I can't power stance with these things? Well, that's because I said I was going to beat the game with thrusting shields, as in plural, god damn it. So even if one of them is just strapped to my back, it still counts. But for realsies, I switched to the dueling shield because it does purely physical damage. The carrion thrusting shield does magic damage, which I'm pretty sure the Elden Beast resists because that fucking thing resists everything. But then I just tried the fight again. Now, if you're wondering what my new strategy is for the Elden Beast, if you didn't know, you can now summon Torrent for this fight, which makes this fight actually fun. Not just like tolerable, but like legitimately fun now. So I used Torrent to close the distance, and I spammed the shit out of jump attacks and impaling thrust. And between those two, I just kept doing that over and over again. Even though he had a lot of health, it took a little while, but I got there in the end. It did get a little dicey towards the end because I was out of healing flasks, but with my last bit of HP, I was able to beat him. But more importantly, his death marks my victory, as I have now beaten Elden Ring with only thrusting shields. Now, was this really a challenge run? No. Not really. The thrusting shields are really good. But yeah, this was a fun test to see how good they are. I'm a pretty average player at this game, and I had a relatively easy time. Even the fire giant wasn't that bad. Like, no boss took me more than like 5 or 6 attempts or so. So that's pretty cool. If you want to see me do the DLC with the thrusting shields, no, I don't want to do that. But I do have more Elden Ring stuff in the works, including the DLC and that kind of shit. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully the next one won't take 3 weeks. You know, like, subscribe, comment, suggestions down below, the kind of videos you want to see. I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, that does it for me. I'm going to go take a huge steaming shit now, and I'll see you later.